When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henrys at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today. I'm ready. Burgers? Check. Chips? Check. Icy cold beer? Check. Except this one. I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread? I can't stop eating it. Rico, relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law Group at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hey guys, it's Nick. The high school football playoffs are here, and we're continuing our high school football coverage live from Seacrest Field this Friday as 7-seed Lincoln Southeast hosts number 10 Millard North. Kickoff between the Knights and the Mustangs is slated for 7 p.m. as our pregame coverage starts at 6:50. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday from Seacrest Field as we bring you playoff action between Lincoln Southeast and Millard North right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Strap up your headgear and try not to hit the mat too hard. This is Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning.
Facts don't lie. Wrestling is a pretty big deal in the Big Ten, so it's a pretty big deal to us.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, Mark Manning.
It is Tuesday, and it's show premiere day. A couple things in play. DP, Coach Manning he's working. He's in Albania. He's got a couple of Huskers over there trying to win world championships. So this week he's got to stand in. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us. You can be a part of what we're doing. 402-464-5685 is the Starter Hammond text line. You want to be a part of what we're doing? You got questions, comments, or otherwise? Feel free. Hit us with a what's up, and we'll get you. We'll make you a part of the conversation. You can follow live on all the streams: Facebook, YouTube, X, and Allo channel 961, and you can see what's going on. The room got a lot tougher just now. No offense, Strick. No offense, but we just got bigger, stronger, meaner, and I'm looking forward to having these conversations from week to week. Proper introduction. Austin, if you would please give this man a little heat.
And now for our championship bout at 285 pounds. He'll wrestle from the red corner, a junior from Nebraska Kearney, Tervel Delagna.
Bruh, it's it's a pleasure, and I think you're the appropriate person to kick off Takedown Tuesdays. It is the coach, Tervel Delagna, national champion, assistant coach for the Huskers wrestling program. Coach, thank you for doing this today.
I'm glad to be here. This is awesome. I appreciate you guys. This is something that the wrestling world needs.
We've been talking about it when Coach Manning makes appearances on the show. Folks get fired up, and then we go radio dark for 2 months, and then I'm like, no, we got to stop doing this. We have to have these conversations and to let folks know. And there's so many stories behind the stories. And a big part of this hour every Tuesday from 4 to 5 is really introducing the people who make this thing go. And Coach Manning has been here. He's iconic in the sport. He's iconic in this town for what he does. The program itself, building legends. I mean, when the GOATs call Husker wrestling home. And then the state of Nebraska has done such an exceptional job of highlighting the sport and giving people opportunities to excel in it. I find it interesting that you're a loper and now you've crossed over. You've crossed over, Coach. You're in the Husker Nation. Tell the folks first about your story and how you got to Nebraska, how all of this happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, I consider myself a Nebraskan, I think is more proper, right? So it wasn't that significant of a crossover, but yeah, so my story to get here, I started wrestling as a sophomore in high school in Arlington, Texas. And I didn't win state. I was fourth as a junior, third as a senior. So it was one of those things where my recruiting pitch was like, this kid has potential. He got pretty good fast, but I went to the national level meets and I would go 2-2, wouldn't play. So my head coach is a Kearney High grad. His name's Henry Harmony, and he did his master's at UNK. My assistant coach of my high school in Arlington, Texas was Andrew Bauer, who is Mark Bauer, the current AD, my wrestling coach's younger brother. And so they kind of exchanged. They say, hey, we got this kid. He's come on pretty quick. He's not going to light the world on fire, but give him a chance. So I came up here and I loved it. And I came for, a couple $100 book scholarship.
How
but
about that?
I wanted to keep wrestling, I fell in love with the sport. I wanted to keep wrestling. So we came to Nebraska, didn't know anyone, just came up to some cornfields from this. I mean, I grew up in Arlington, right sandwiched in between Dallas, Fort Worth, cities, skyscrapers, 10 million people. So
yeah, brother.
Very different.
Yeah, it's a thing. And then you get to UNK, and I don't think you could envision or dream how great your career at UNK was going to be, right? No matter how the university, we don't dream that big, that you're going to have the career you had, taking the steps you took, and then finishing with a 49-1 senior season. That's insanity. That's top level for you. What's if I asked you the highlights of your career at Kearney?
I mean, that's easy. It was winning the team title as a senior year. So my junior year, the drama around my career was my junior year, I beat the Division I national champion. And so going into my senior year, I was invited to the All-Star meet where it's usually the top two Division I guys. Yeah. But I was very, I placed fourth at the US Open, which is the men's, the Olympic ladder. So going into my senior year, I knew, and it was pretty widely known that I was one of the best heavyweights all class. And so my plan was going to be, it was on an Olympic year, 2008, Beijing. I was going to take an Olympic red shirt and then transfer to Division I. And I had, I had a good relationship with Tommy Rollins, who was a two-time Buckeye national champ. He was a coach at Ohio State. I had good relationships with Daniel Cormier at Oklahoma State. I had good relationships with some of these guys. And I told Coach Bauer, hey, after this year, my junior year, I'm an Olympic redshirt. He was absolutely makes sense. Love it. And so we won everything that year. We won everything. We only lost to Nebraska here. We won national duels. We won every other duel. We beat Navy. We beat Wyoming. We beat D1, every other D1 school. We wrestled 17-1 dual meet record. By far and away, going to run away with the nationals at home in Kearney. And Central Oklahoma wrestled. We didn't even wrestle that bad, but they put three men who got fourth in their region. They put them in the national finals. Half their team was in the national finals. So they beat us and everything changed. Because at that point it was like, am I still going to do this? Like I came in with this class who became my best friends. They were in my wedding. They live in town. They're my best friends. And we would watch highlight videos of old wrestling. And we said, we're going to do it. By the time we're seniors, we're going to do it. And we didn't do it, but we had one more chance. And so I decided, let's just do it. Let's send it. No red shirts, no D1. Let's do it. And it came down to my match. And I won, and we won by half a point. And it's nothing. That's it. Like every individual accolade pales in comparison to that team trophy.
That is bananas. And you mentioned the names you mentioned have all had success and then kind of outgrown the sport. Even Cormier taking wrestling back to its iconic place on the mixed martial arts hierarchy. And you say, wow, listen, this wrestling thing, is that a thing? Did you ever consider, hey, maybe dabbling in that?
It wasn't as big.
Yeah.
So it was on the up and up. So I think as I was training for the Olympics, it was like, maybe. And then we got to a point where things started to hurt. And it was,
well, you got to pay the bills.
Yeah. And it was a knee, and it was a back, and it was a hip, and it was a shoulder. So by the end of it, it was like, get me out of here. I got to go.
Let somebody else hurt. Let somebody else. Yeah, that's usually the way it works. Coach Delagne from the Huskers wrestling program here on Takedown Tuesdays. And again, I'm grateful. I have to say it in advance. There's zero chance in any of these conversations in the hours that take place that we can cover everything that we're supposed to cover. There's no way. There's literally no way for it to happen. You get the opportunity. You have world success. The sport itself, from a Nebraska perspective and base, to travel the world representing Arlington, Texas, and the state of Nebraska has to carry your heart. Like, it has to mean a ton for you. What did you see? What did you learn? What does it mean for you?
I mean, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest perspective, worldview changers you do. So I've been to 32 countries, and I'm not a tour because of wrestling. The only place I have vacationed is Mexico. The other 31 are business trips, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's not the type wrestling, the traditional powerhouses of wrestling are places you wouldn't vacation. I've been to Iran 5 times. I've been to Russia 14 times. I've been to Siberia. I've been to the farthest creases of Dagestan, Chechnya. I've been to Uzbekistan, all the stands, Ukraine's. I've been to the United Arab Emirates, Azerbaijan. I mean, it's the places where you're like, what are you doing? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to hang out in Iran, so it's interesting.
South and Central East Asia is not the vacation land, bro. That is not it.
Old Soviet country.
Oh my goodness.
That's the powerhouses.
Oh, it's amazing though. So from the core of it, you do your interactive part of it where you're competing. And then you realize, as you said, the parts start to talk to you a little bit and you decide, I'm going to coach. Talk about your coaching career and how it launched and how you chose, whether it be Ohio State, Nebraska, choosing what you choose.
Well, I think that as I was an athlete, I don't remember the exact moment, but there was a time as I was still competing that I wanted to coach. I think that my life in wrestling, a huge chunk of my worldview is in wrestling. I think that how I see the world is through the chosen suffering in the sport of wrestling. I think that parents should get their kids into sports right now because it's the safest way to suffer, right? A life without suffering,
friction,
becomes, if your life has no suffering in it, then when unchosen suffering happens, you'll be broken. You will not be prepared for any sort of suffering. So everyone must have some sort of suffering that they put on themselves to harden themselves to the realities of life. And sports is the safest and truest way to do that.
That is so good. Chosen suffering is the thing. Like when you talk about in sports and in life, the fact that you've found this frame for it and it gets folks through. But those are the best parts about wrestlers to me, is that you have to have conversations with yourself about your suffering that happen in no other sport. In no other sport is there constant friction. I don't care if it's 9 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, every tendon, every muscle fiber is being called on. And then the conversation that you have with yourself. So I'll ask you, from the highest level of wrestling, what are the things that you say the most to yourself that as a competitor that you now give to the Husker athletes to compete with? What do you say to yourself and go, you know what, this is how I'm going to get through?
Well, I think that in the literal moment, you have to have a little mantra, right? So that means something to you. So we encourage all of our guys to the way that I script it is if you are watching yourself on a video and you were underperforming, and in that moment, God came down, sat beside you and said, I will transport you back into this match so you can coach yourself live. What would you say to yourself? What do you need to hear in the moment? So whatever that is. So for me, it's keep moving. If I stop moving at any moment, it's concrete. Everything hardens. So, but as long as I keep moving, my anxiety is reduced. My muscle fatigue is reduced. So my mantra, and it layers on top, right? So keep moving for me means don't quit. Keep moving for me means have courage. Keep moving for me means be tough. So it layers a lot of, but that's my little phrase. Keep moving, and it's a broken record in my head. And so we try to cultivate something that, because me just saying wrestle or get tough or yelling moves doesn't do it. It has to mean something, and it has to mean something to you, not to me.
It's the best thing in coaching, that sometimes those mantras are the things that are said in when chaos happens, but it's also that thing that the last thing that you say to a wrestler before he goes out and shakes hand with Iowa or shake hand with Penn State, that last thing that you say to him is the thing that's going to move him next. And I find it fascinating. I want to talk a little bit about Coach Manning before we go to break. I do want to get into it. What are the things that he says the most? Because sitting Matt's side during a Husker wrestling event, there are things that are said that how we haven't mic'd up wrestling coaches just to record the things that are said the most often. So for Coach Manning, what are the things that he says most often? Because I think that defines the program.
Yeah, well, I think his I mean, he has a lot of little phrases that we joke about. So his, he has silly ones, right? So he always says when he's teaching, he says like he'll make a move to come together, and he'll say, and then George Washington. You know what that means? It means your history, right? Like he's got a lot of little Manningisms that are very creative that keep things light. But I would say his general message, and he avenues around different ways to get there. But his general message is this: we love you no matter what. It's okay to fail. It's never okay to quit. Right? So failure is acceptable. Quitting is not. Give what you do. Give what you have. If you have 40%, give 40%. If you have 100, give 100, but never give 0 and never give under your threshold. Compete in the block end like it means something to you, and you will be loved no matter what.
I try to explain to people how to identify great coaches, great competitors. And it's all of those things. It really is like, and in the most insane of collegiate sports. And I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
That anybody that spends time in the wrestling program at any level has a different makeup than the rest of us mere mortals who walk the planet. Because listen, you're angry because you don't get to eat what you want unless you're the heavyweight, right? And even then, you still got to kind of pay attention to what your body tells you. Then you've got to commit some social disconnect to friends who are just out living their life, and you've got to go to the mat. You've got to put your ears to that mat and concede some things, and you've got to build down. If I ask you to define a wrestler, put it in air quotes, what are the traits that make for a great wrestler?
Well, great wrestlers, I would start, like if I'm mixing character traits, right? If we're just throwing it in a cauldron, I would say I would start with the ability to do hard things well, right? This idea of suffering as it attaches to you as an addiction, right? Like I still cannot miss a day of working. If I don't work out, I'm almost 40. And if I don't work out, I feel like I feel guilty. I need to punish myself. I need to use some, whether it's physical or mental or, but so there's that, there's courage. I mean, you're putting on skin tight uniform and it's one-on-one and you're going to fight some other human in front of a crowd. So it takes an immense amount of courage to participate, you're the man in the arena. Number 3, the ability to think under fatigue, right? This tremendous amount of effort. And probably the last one would be dealing with imperfection well. Because our sport, like you said, 2 hours before the biggest football game of your life, you're eating grapes, watching video, getting a massage. 2 hours before the most important match of your life, your cheeks are sunk in, you're in your underwear in an arena with other men in their underwear waiting to weigh in, you're dehydrated. It's a sport that is suboptimal. You're never at your best. So it's literally a test of who can be the best suboptimal performer. You're never, when you wrestle in your biggest match, it's not your best match. Your best match is in the summer when you're on full feed and your buddies, you just played video games last night, you ate a pizza and you're here to party and you're fighting someone. At the Olympic finals, it's who's the best 70%er. So the people that can compete suboptimally and not unravel, very special.
It is going, as I said, full disclosure, there's zero chance I can sit here with Coach and cover everything that I want to cover. But this is the beauty of it. We're going to do this every Tuesday. So we can get it. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We're going to go back to a moment. And great competitors have those moments. I want to get inside the coach's head about one of his greatest moments. He did a thing, and I want to hear him describe it mentally, what it took. And then we'll get a little bit more into the suboptimal thing of losing weight and diet and all those things that are required and that these Huskers are doing on a daily basis for the University of Nebraska. DP Takedown Tuesdays, 93.7 The Ticket.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith. Innovation has a name. Call John Henry's at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and safe Halloween. With all the parents and kids out and about, they encourage drivers to be careful and respectful of trick-or-treaters. This important message comes to you from Bart and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialists here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services, on the air because they care.
All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.
I'm ready.
Burgers?
Check.
Chips?
Check.
Icy cold beer?
Check. Except this one.
I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico!
Relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law Group at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best boxers on Saturday, November 9th with Vertex at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now's the perfect time to go with Nebraska football on a bye week. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Hey guys, it's Nick. The high school football playoffs are here, and we're continuing our high school football coverage live from Seacrest Field this Friday as 7 seed Lincoln Southeast hosts number 10 Millard North. Kickoff between the Knights and the Mustangs is slated for 7 p.m. as our pregame coverage starts at 6:50. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday from Seacrest Field as we bring you playoff action between Lincoln Southeast and Millard North right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Child care providers know that little kids are a big responsibility, and you work hard to do your best for the families who depend on you. But help may be available. If you own or work at a child care program, you may be eligible for Nebraska's School Readiness Tax Credit. Find out if you or your program qualify, because in the work you do for our youngest kids, every dollar counts. Learn more at schoolreadiness.taxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Takedown Tuesdays on The Ticket. DP, Coach Delagnev is with us. And the Husker program is in great hands. Standards from sometimes you lead from the bottom, and the things that you add, experience, and being able to tell folks how to finish, how to get to that place that they've never gone before, doing a thing they've never done before. And you had a moment. And Austin, if you would please, we'll take it back, and I want you to listen to it, and then we're going to come back and have Coach describe what it took, what that moment was like. It's a moment of all moments. Austin, please.
Wow. They give him 2 points for that. He rolls right back into it again. Fox is working trying to get him to the back. Can he do it? The last match position and a lot of time left. There it is. Truvel the lockdown, a national champ with the fall in the second period.
Now, there are a couple of things, and this is when you should be on the stream. I apologize if you're in the car, but if you're on the stream, and go back and watch this when it goes on the podcast. But there's a look that went in Coach's eye. Coach, take us through. You were describing before the match, right, that you had never Apex. You had never been at this level, but talk about that day.
So a little bit of history on that opponent. So that opponent was very difficult for me to wrestle. So it was the kind of guy that I would beat people that beat him. I would outplace him. But when we met that year, we went into 3 overtimes because of our style. So I shot low. He had incredibly flexible knees, so hard to finish my leg attacks on. And it was just, I would get exhausted. I would shoot, and he would get out and evade. And then he was just big and strong. So it was like, I just remember preparing for this absolute slugfest. It was like, all right, this is gonna be a 20-minute match. I'm gonna try. I gotta like, this is gonna be miserable. Like, it's at any moment, if I make one mistake, it could be over. And I had so at this point, I never won state, hadn't won the national. So my season-ending tournament, I had never completed a season with a win, or with the biggest win.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into this match, I'm anticipating all this stuff. And this has happened before, I'm sure, in other sports, but in wrestling in particular, it happens. I celebrate it. I don't celebrate very often, but I celebrate it like a maniac, because the culmination of, anticipating something to be incredibly difficult, and then for some reason all your moves work. And so I had been working on this one move all about a week, 10 days before this, and I'm messing with it, and he touched me. And I created this pressure. I snapped his arm to the mat. He fell, did a 360, and I fell on top of him for an instant takedown. And in that moment, I go, I just won the Nationals, because he couldn't take me down. He needed me to. So I just knew I could literally just ride this out. He gets out. He touched me. Same move. Boom. I have two. Now I even have some wiggle room. So at that point, I'm feeling myself. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm the national champ. And so I'm so freed up. I'm feeling everything. And he's panicking because he probably thinks like, how am I going to, I've never taken this dude down unless he's like been super stressed out. And then he hit that roll. And I didn't even try it. He turned the wrong way. I reacted. And it was all the 17 hours of expecting the hardest match of my life. And it ended early. Like I jumped up. I wanted to go run cross country. I had so much. It was just, everything was like, it just came out.
There was a look on your face during the match, second takedown, and your facial expression changed when he went to his back. And then the camera catches his face. And the look on, it's like watching the draining of a spirit. And it just left him. And then even the official was almost stunned to have to put his palm to the mat. Like he was like, yep, I got to do it. Didn't plan on doing this. It's spectacular. It's a spectacular moment. And congratulations on that. It's a thing. You were talking about, the friction of trying to compete at 70% or 50%, because the weight loss, especially on the college level, is just different. It's different. And then trying to figure out what to eat that allows you to make weight, but also gives you some energy and strength. And there's a balance. And today's wrestler, University of Nebraska, has a different meal plan than you had and you and Carney. But let's talk about that. How big a part of the result on match night, on meet night, is from nutrition and the choices made during the course of the week?
Massive. I mean, especially if you're a weight cutter, especially obviously it's, in proportion to how much you need to lose. Now our men, they, Lord willing, we're not in a situation where we have these crazy weight cuts. And even the ones that have, they do it such a disciplined way. So they have embraced the change your life rather than change your weight plan. So I wouldn't even call it cutting weight. They just live different. Right. They've taken up this mantle. Like you said, you're not going to live like everyone else. There's a detachment, right? You don't get to do, but I think at any level, if you're going to be elite at anything, you got to be different. Yeah. Right. And you have to take this an opportunity to say, I cannot hold myself back from things I want. That can't be the perspective. It's not, well, I wish I could party and I wish I could stay up till 2:00 every morning and I wish I could carouse the streets and I wish I can and I wish I can, but I won't to be a champion. That's not elite. Elite says, I don't want to anymore. Elite says, that's not for me. I'm different. My dream is bigger than these other, gratifications.
Yeah.
Right. Delay your gratification is one of the trademark things that tracks elite life. If you can delay gratification, there's a good chance you'll be successful.
What do you say in this community that nationally this program is one of the top 5 programs in the country year in, year out? Development of young people and development of young wrestlers, top 5 in the country. Top 5 in the country. Resources, access, facility, top 5 in the country. Just between you and me, you getting enough love, enough respect for this sport that requires gladiator mentality, gladiator living?
Absolutely. No, I'll tell you this. So it starts at the top, and Troy Dannon has verbalized his desire and, just respect for our sport and to invest in us and to make us feel loved. And I mean, he's been around, and he's been really good. So it's been great.
On one of these shows, on a future Tuesday, you and I are going to have a conversation about recruiting and transfer portal, and it will take the entire hour. And folks, let me tell you, a preview. Coach and I were sitting outside the studio, and we started talking about, listen, for a program that's preseason ranked 3 or 4, depending on the poll and who you're talking to, with a lineup from top to bottom of top 30 wrestlers in the country. In most cases, most sports, having the talent that you have, Nebraska would be number 1 in the conference and number 1 in the country. Unfortunately, in this sport, in this time, I don't know, the big dogs live in the Big Ten. And number 1 and number 2 also in the Big Ten. The transfer portal is a thing that exists and it's real. But it also plays into how you're going to be able to compete. In your mind, what is the transfer portal and how does it affect college wrestling at the Big Ten level?
Well, I'll start with this. The Big Ten Conference, I don't know. I'm not familiar with every sport, but I would venture to guess that the difference in the Big Ten versus the rest of the country's conferences in wrestling has the strongest divide out of any other sport conference divide. Because I mean, it's so severe. You can go to, there's conferences that number 23 wrestle number 18 to win. In the Big Ten, number 5 will wrestle number 7 to get 7th.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just, I'm looking at two-time All-Americans going for 7th at the Big Ten. If you're a Big Ten, if you want to be a national champ out of the Big Ten, you got to win it 2 weekends in a row. You got to win the Big Tens and the Nationals, and it's essentially pretty similar brackets. I mean, it's incredible.
It's incredible. And the movement that happens. So if you're number 7 in the Big Ten, it's a really good program.
Incredible.
But you also know that you have to do something remarkable to jump from 7 to 2. We talk about it. Give me a little of how some programs are dealing with changing their roster. If you're aspiring to be number 1 or 2 from 7 or 8, how are Big Ten schools going about changing their roster?
Well, I mean, I think that everyone can see the clear bookends are fully sell out to development and in its purest form.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not even going to look who's in the transfer portal. And that is probably unrealistic. And the other bookend is, you know, just guns for hire, right? 1 year heavy hitters. And so obviously we are going to entertain the transfer portal, but we have committed as a program to use it to augment, not to replace development, right? That's why we started to coach. We want to develop men. We want to see lives change through the sport, teach them what the sport has to offer, become great. And along the path, we might, believing in someone and giving them time might cost you a placement as a sophomore that you might have expedited with a recruit over the top. But I just think in long-term culture building, it helps. Now, you can be a program that brings in half your team as one year point scorers, get a couple trophies. But right now, we're not far enough into this to tell, but I just have to think at some point, if that becomes your reputation, you'll stop getting high school kids. And that's still the grassroots. That is the lifeblood of our sport is young kids. I would take an upcoming senior that hasn't realized his potential over, a guy that was pretty good at Michigan State and just wants to try something new. Yeah. I'm going to take that hungry kid.
It really is going to be the identifier. Like the transfer portal is now the mirror to your soul, whatever your program is. Look, we talk about in other sports to understand that you make the choice in what, the wooden pyramid of success, right? What's priority 1? And as you just said, you're now a part of a program where you get to carry your belief system and your mantra into this thing that, you know what? We're good enough. We're the people that want to develop talent. We want to take high school folks. We want to grow the sport. We want to do this, but we also know there's the other side. There are folks that want to win and don't care. And whatever the price tag is, they willing to write the check. And there are people that are going to help. Speaking of checks, we're going to go to break. When we come back, there is a donation program going on. There's a project and a challenge that through November 7th, you can donate for the Husker Wrestling program. And we're going to tag this because we really do want Husker wrestling fans to show up, donate, help the program in the ways that they can help, do what you can do. We know that you show up at Devaney in great numbers with great energy. This is a chance to directly help the Husker wrestling program. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to take this Husker wrestling belt. We're going to do something cool with it because I think it has a greater purpose and a greater value than sitting in my office. So we will be back. Takedown Tuesdays on the ticket. We'll be right back, folks.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through October 29th is $1 off per pound on New York strips. Spend $50 and get a free brick of ground beef and 25% off on tea. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Highway 2 in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, I'm State Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised right here in Lancaster County. I understand the value of hard work by being involved in our family business. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. Nebraska families and business owners need lower taxes, more affordable health care, and a great education system. That is why I fought for the largest tax cut in Nebraska history, reduce the cost of health care, and help pass the biggest investment in our public schools. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th, paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Hi, this is Investigator Joe Villamonte with the Lincoln Police Union, asking you to vote for Carolyn Bosin for legislator. As a prosecutor, Carolyn Bosin has always supported law enforcement to keep our community safe. Carolyn Bosin has the experience we need. Carolyn Bosin is the only choice for legislator to keep our community safe. Join the law enforcement community in voting to keep our community safe. Vote Carolyn Bosin on November 5th.
Paid for by Bosin for legislature.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law Group at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116. When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henrys at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping. Thrift camping is saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we want to thank all of our customers for a great September. And now it's time for our annual Halloween sales event happening right now at Koppel. Get 0% financing at Koppel. You heard right, 0% financing on select new models. Also, huge discounts up to $11,500 are available. It's our annual Halloween sales event. Get $11,500 off or 0% financing at Koppel. So please stop on by or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. 0% with roof credit.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly sunny skies, and it will be windy and warm with the high around 83. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms. It'll be windy, too, below around 53. And tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms likely throughout the day, the high around 61. I'm meteorologist Kyle Becker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Is your phone system holding you back? We know how important smooth, reliable communication is for your success. Whether your team is working from the office or on the go, you need a phone system that keeps up with your busy day. At Hamilton, we offer business phone systems that adapt to your needs, making every call clear and every connection simple. Upgrade to a Hamilton business phone system where advanced features meet unmatched reliability. Are you ready to transform how you communicate? Better phones, better business. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Back to Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We told you. There's zero chance that in this hour we could get covered everything we want to get covered. But I'm grateful that every Tuesday this program is going to get highlighted from 4 to 5 o'clock. Takedown Tuesdays here on The Ticket. And I'm honored to sit here and have this conversation with Coach Lagnev because there's so much in play. This roster that exists, put together through blood, sweat, and development. Like there's real love that happens there. And this program is going through and partnered with 1890 to raise funds up until November. There's a match going on for donations that can be found, and you can just find Husker Wrestling. You can go on the Husker site. You can go on social media, and it defines for you an opportunity to directly impact, and every dollar goes double the distance of normal donations. So up until November 7th. So you have a week plus to make donations. And listen, you want to go big time, go big time. You want to directly do NIL for one of these athletes, and they're all deserving. And that's a thing that we're working on here at The Ticket as well, because your athletes deserve some love when it comes to the NIL stuff as well. But you can find that on the Husker website. Go to Husker Wrestling and make a donation because it'll be matched up until November 7th. So if you want to do that. Coach, so the WWE created these wrestling belts. And, they're like, hey, do you want, like we gave Bud 2. Yeah, get it to me. Get it to me. But it has more value in the hands of champions than it does sitting on my mantle. So I'm going to offer this to the Husker Wrestling program. And my thought is this, and you can do with it what you want to do with it. But it could be for performance of the day, practice of the day, workout of the day, success story of the day, somebody that just needs a pat on the back, an attaboy, a kick in the pants, whatever you need it for. And you can change it from day to day. You can change it from week to week, whatever you want to do with it. But Coach, I'm gonna hand this belt to you to do something spectacular with. And we will follow this belt through the season. If we do this right, it'll tell us some stories, right? It'll allow you to tell folks, hey, you know who had a good day? You know who had a good week? So, Coach, I want to give this to you for you to take back to the program and do something really cool with. Let your guys carry it around. I don't care if I expect it to be carried to class.
Oh, that'd be great. I
expect it, right, to have your guys walk in campus, just strap over shoulder, letting you know, man, hey, look, we're putting in work. We're putting in work. I'm going to ask, we have about 4 minutes. And I'm going to ask you to start with the little guys, and we'll just give a 1-sentence recap on this roster of yours. Everybody that's projected is ranked in the top 30 in the country. Everybody here has every potential and every right to have the type of season that where history can be made. So I'm going to ask you about this roster. I want you to start with the little guys and work your way up to the big guys.
All right. So obviously I'm going to, touch on the starters from last year that have a little bit of a resume and then some key guys. But so at 125, Caleb Smith, App State transfer 2 years ago, came in, became an All-American, first year as the Huskers, and had a breakthrough season. He's poised. He beat some really good guys.
Great family too.
Great family.
Great family.
I love talking to his dad. Very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
Cale Lordson, local Bennington boy, took a gray shirt out to OTC, came back, did a lot of developing. Alan Kaler, Minnesota boy, really, really good room. Those guys beat each other up, along with, a couple other guys. Jacob Van Dee at 133.
Savage.
Had really good, top 4, beat some really, really good guys at Big Tens. Had won a couple matches, coming in ranked 14th. So looks to be poised. We have a freshman that's on injury reserve right now, Omar Ayub from Ohio, big time, top 35 kid on the big board. So his brother Ishmael's on the team. He's coming off of a knee injury, but he's looking really good. 41, Brock Hardy, 2-time All-American, finished the season third on a premier win, beating someone he's never beaten to get third, one of the leaders on the team. Wrestling IQ through the roof. Good man, smart man. Blake Cushing, his backup, the guy he's going to be wrestling in the wrestle off, is a local kid from Grand Island, really good, has developed immensely, beat 3 national qualifiers last year, could be on a multitude of different rosters, but he chose to stay a Husker. Ridge Lovett, returning national finalist, All-American, Big Ten champ, leader of the team, one of our few seniors this year. 157, Antrell Taylor as a 165-pounder is dropping to 157. He All-American as a freshman in arguably the deepest weight last year, so looks poised to do some big things. 165, Bubba Wilson coming down from 74. He's been a 2-time national qualifier at 65, went up for the team last year. Looks to have a good season. And there's another premier freshman, Christopher Minto from Florida, who's been looking really good in the room. That's the wrestle off there. 174, Lenny Pinto, the 5 seed, 2 years in a row. Round of 12 last year. He is going down to 74. He's done such a tremendous job with his weight. Very disciplined, energy level through the roof. LJ Arujo, 5-time North Dakota champ, Super 32, the premier high school tournament champion. In the room, he's redshirting behind him, but that's who the wrestle off will be. LJ made the final wrestle off against Lenny. Silas Allred, same thing as Lenny, from 197 to 184. He's going down. He's an animal. He's got veins in his abs. He's a savage. He works out 3 times a day and wants more. He's an absolute animal. Round of 12 at 97, 2 years in a row. Chose the decision to just be disciplined, go down to 84. Looks really poised. Marco Christensen, All-American in high school from Minnesota, Pinnacle Wrestling, one of the premier clubs. 197, Cam McDaniel. He also went to the OTC. He made the U20 team. He was a bronze medalist over in Jordan last summer. Won the U.S. Open again at U20s. Big time freshman coming in, looking to do big things as a true coming in. And then Harley Andrews, our heavyweight, had won us the Minnesota duel last year. Big time win. He's getting better and better, tougher and tougher. He's bigger. He's about 15 pounds bigger. He feels it strong. So crazy lineup. We got a potential to do some legendary things, and we appreciate all your support. Guys are excited. They're fun to watch, and we're excited to represent the Block N.
Next Friday night.
Yes, sir. Utah Valley coming into town.
Utah Valley coming into town. Coach, again, great guest, great conversation. Looking forward to this journey every Tuesday, talking about Husker wrestling.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
Don't go anywhere. Tuesday conversations are fire. Teammates Mentoring Hour. Join the team. Des Moines Adams, Ashton Honor coming in. Austin Norman will man the ship and get you through to Ticket Week nights. This has been a pleasure. Takedown Tuesdays on the Ticket. Out.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial.